Okay. Hey, Sam, how you doing? Um, I had a couple questions about Judkins and Rocket. I don't think Judkins has missed any games, but his first four, I think he didn't have more than 60 yards or 13 carries. And last week he goes 33 for like 177. What do you see from him leading into that game? And then, how different he looked last week.
Well, he just hadn't had as many opportunities like you just spoke about. Every time he runs the ball, he's really physical. I do think 24, their other back is really good as well. So I think they're sharing the load a little bit more. Obviously, the carries that he had last week, big game for them, and they got him the football. But he's still the same guy that I believe he led the SEC in rushing last year. He's still the same guy. He's incredible. He's a really good player. I think just the opportunities came to him a little bit more Saturday than what they had previously.
And then Rocket, I think he was right there behind Judkins, and obviously they both had monster games last year when you all played. With Rocket's second week back, what are you seeing from him in practice? Do you think he might be more ready to break out like himself?
Well, we're hoping so, buddy. I think anytime you're a little rusty, which I felt like he probably was last week, and not totally a 100%, you're not going to be able to play as good as you normally would. I believe that the knee is feeling much better than it did last week, and then obviously he played and made a nice run on the screen and things of that nature. And anytime you have some problems, an injury, a lot of times your confidence in your mind, it goes towards the injury more than towards the performance. And I think by being hit and doing all those things, I think he probably feels a lot better about it. He's had a good week.
How big is that for y'all if he can be the old Rocket, so to speak?
Well, that'd be huge. Obviously we've got to block for him better up front than what we have and all that. But, he's also in the past broke a lot of tackles. And when he gets healthy, he'll do that again. So it'll be, we need some explosive plays. And he's certainly one of the ones that can give it to us.
Thanks.
Jackson.
Yes, Sam, the second half, I know we've talked a little bit about the defense against A&M, but I'm just curious, after going back and watching the film, what most stood out? I mean, you guys, didn't give a touch.
Well, the turnovers, we got turnovers. We scored, obviously. I felt like we covered them a little bit better. The first half, we had a couple of breakdowns, and, they were wide open a couple of times. I think that defensive staff did a great job of adjusting on that. And I think we got a little more pressure on him. So they've always played hard. I think getting the turnovers, getting off the field, certainly were big for us, and the adjustments that they made, we just covered them a little bit better, I believe.
Hutch.
Yeah, Coach, we noticed Devin Manuel didn't do fastballs yesterday. I know he's dealt with some injuries. Is he dealing with something still, or is he good to go?
Well, he'll be fine. We're going to rest him. Yes, to answer your question, has he been dealing with injuries? Yeah, all year. But we're going to rest him a little bit just to have him available for Saturday. And we may rest him today and practice him tomorrow, but we need him available. And so we're going to try to do the best we can to get him there.
And I know we asked you a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, about Shamar Easter, and he came in late and everything. You mentioned he's gained some weight and getting some valuable time on scout team. But with Luke's injury, could you foresee a scenario where maybe later in the year he could maybe help y'all out on offense and everything?
Well, there's always a possibility, but there's some other guys over there. I like Maddox Lassiter. I do. I like him a lot, and Shamar is going to be a really fine player for us. He's just not ready today to do any of those things that you're talking about. But he's going to be a really good player for us in the future.
Tom.
Hey, Sam, you talked about how good Ole Miss is on offense. What is it in particular they do that stresses a defense? How are they attacking you?
Well, they're really good at protecting the quarterback, and they're really good at run blocking. I think those are where the two things start. Obviously, have a high-powered running back, running backs. But they're as much as we talk about Ole Miss and their high power and all that, they're a run football team. They want to run the football, and they're really good at it because you have to get out of the box, to cover them. And then once you do that, then they're going to run the football. Really good at route running, attacking coverages. In other words, flooding coverages. You saw it against Alabama on tape. You saw it obviously against LSU last week. But Lane is really good about playing fast, knowing what he thinks the defense is going to line up in, and then playing fast and then looking over and then having the play answer off of what he sees on the field. That's where they have such advantage because they're speed. And then if he really wants to get a look at it, he'll just clap and hold and get a look at it and then basically flood areas. And they're really good at it. And Dart's, he's been throwing the ball really well.
Hey, is Dwight McLaughlin making good progress this week? And how important is he to have, healthy to complete your secondary, basically?
Not as great a progress I'd like for him to. We still don't know if he'll be available on Saturday or not, but I wish he was healing up a little bit faster than what he is.
Yeah. We didn't ask you about the final A&M series last week. We couldn't really tell. It looked like they were trying to score on second, third down. Not sure about fourth, but you held them out. What did you?
They were definitely trying to score on fourth down. No, there was no question about that.
What did you make of the series, though? The fact that at the end of the game, you didn't let them in.
Oh, I thought it was big. Again, we need to have one of them and have more points than they do. At the end of the game, we've had two of them this year, and one of them, I guess, was we were ahead, but it was a non-factor in the game. And certainly Saturday was the same way. They were going to win whether they scored or not. But I thought it was big that we stopped them. It just shows the character of the kids, that the want to of the kids, that they care if they score or not. So I thought that was good on our part to stop them there in that situation.
Trey.
Yeah, Coach, I was going to ask you to just kind of expound a little bit more on what you see with their offensive line Warren and James both have over 35 career starts.
Yeah.
Petras is a returning starter. And then the two transfers they got were starters at other spots. Just speak to their experience a little bit and what they did.
Jeremy James, he came over to Georgia, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. I worked him out. Man, what a great kid and great family. Then he goes over to Ole Miss. I'm not positive. I think he started ever since he's a freshman. And if he's got 35 starts, he's
41.
Yeah. And so he's done such a really good job. But, those guys on that side, they got him a great big old tackle that's returning over there. What, Petras?
60.
Pettis, yeah. And they got size. They're really good at pass protecting, and then those two kids on the left side that transferred in, they're doing a magnificent job for them. So they've gelled together. Obviously, they had the 3 veterans. I think it's big, Trey, that they start with the center coming back. I think that's so valuable. But they've done a great job of protecting. They run the little dart play well. They run the counter play well. And they run the inside split zone, outstanding. Their coach, I don't know who their offensive line coach is, but he's done a hell of a job with them, and they can do everything well that they're asked to do. And they're big, do a really good job with twist games. But I think it starts with, like you said, they have a lot of returning games up there on the front, and even the guys that are new have played a lot of ball for somebody else. Yeah, so they've done a nice job. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah, John Garrison's first year there in offensive line. That was going to be my next question. If you had any relationship with him at all, but I guess
Trey,
not.
where'd he come from? Do you remember?
NC State.
NC State, yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's Dave Doran. That's a smash mouth, tough football program over there. So, but no, I have a lot of respect for watching his tape and what they've done. But I don't believe I know him well.
with the transfer portal, Lane is, I mean, he brought in 18 2 years ago. He brought in 23 last year. He's 41 the last 2 years. What are your thoughts about the job that he's done in the portal, the guys that he's got out of that? And I mean, it's kind of been a bit of a trendsetter, I guess, with bringing in such a high number early on.
Well, I think so, because you look at him and what he's done over there and what he was, you have to allow yourself to do that. In other words, you have to say, okay, that's what I'm going to do. It's like, do you believe in the old days taking 8 or 10 junior college players, because what message are you sending and all that kind of stuff. And to the guys on your team, I think Lane was one of the first guys to do that. And obviously it's been successful for him. We obviously did that more this year, but a lot of it was necessity because we had so many scholarships, out there. But I still believe I'm a little different. I still believe that you need to sign about 20 high school kids a year if you can, and then go portal for portal with guys. Obviously, each year's a little bit different because you've got some positions where you go, man, we can't go through, we can't go through this again. We have to change that. And those guys obviously would be of high need, but I think he's done a great job. Even, everybody's talking about what Coach Sanders did, at Colorado, but Lane's really done that for the last couple of years. And the numbers haven't been quite as big, obviously, but he's done that, and it's a new trend in football.
Thanks, Coach.
Daniel.
Hi, Coach. How are you? We've had 5 games under Coach Enos now. I'm just wondering how it's been working with him and if there's anything different than what you remember from 2015.
No, I mean, obviously, we have to get better as a team and all those things. But no, it's working with him has been enjoyable, and I think we're all a little bit, including him, we're frustrated that we're not, having more explosive plays and things of that nature. But working with him has been fantastic, and we're continuing to try to improve every week, and he knows we have to improve. I know it. The kids know it. The rest of the staff knows it. So, but it's been enjoyable.
Thanks, Coach.
Wrap us up, Bob.
Sam, I know it's still relatively early in the week or midweek or whatever, but what's been your take on the shuffling you did on the offensive line? How old guys are looking, how that's working out?
Well, yeah. Well, Monday's spiders, so you're worried about, can we get the snap, make sure to snap. And Kudus has played, football. He's played center here before, so yesterday I really liked it. Monday I liked it as well, but I really liked it. And you're always taking a chance, but it's an educated chance when you make moves. And so we obviously, we want to win just like everybody else. So we obviously took a calculated chance there that moving these guys would help us, and they have performed pretty well, Bob, in the first 2 days.
And then going back to that last play against A&M, you've had opportunities in several games to pop it, try to score there at the end when you're up big. And I know Texas in particular, I know you took a knee, I think Rice, some other games. You and Jimbo seem to get along fairly well. What do you think of Jimbo doing that?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to ask him. Each guy has his different reasons. I really can't say for why, they tried to score there at the end. Maybe it's the rivalry. I have no idea. I believe Jimbo and I are friends. That doesn't mean that he doesn't want to beat me bad, make it look worse than what it is. But I don't know. That's probably a question you'd have to ask him. That's not, just because I, take knees against those people, Ole Miss, my first year, all that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily make it right for everybody to do that. So might just be a difference of philosophy or trying to get in the rankings or whatever that may be.
Yeah, he said he was just trying to run the clock out and they weren't going to score because they hadn't scored the previous 3 times. But honestly, that didn't really wash with me. But, whatever.
Go Hogs.
Last one, Ty.
Yo, what's going on, Coach? I just had a question about Dominic Johnson. I know he was obviously you guys moved him to tight end in 21, and he's back there again. I just kind of wanted to get your assessment so far on him this week.
Well, excuse me. He's not totally back there. We have some 20 package where we can have availability of him playing at the tight end position. But you're right. We experiments with it. I think 2 or maybe 3 years ago, and then we got a running back hurt, and then he came in, does such a wonderful job. But we are looking at that in some situations. I just want to make sure that we all know that he hadn't moved to tight end permanently, that we are looking at some 20 package where he could be in a tight end position, if that makes sense.
Thanks,
He's
Coach.
a good job. You're welcome.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Hogs.